This video is sponsored by Luminar AI. Hey guys, Irene here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be editing some of my portraits using Luminar AI. So if you're not familiar with Luminar AI and Skylum, the company that makes Luminar, it is an editing software specifically designed to make your editing a lot faster and easier. It uses artificial intelligence to do some really cool things like one-click skin retouch, a sky replacement, eye enhancement. It's great for both beginners and professional photographers, and I really love the fact that you can use it as a plugin in Photoshop or Lightroom. That's what I'm going to be using it today, as a Photoshop plugin, to show you guys what my personal workflow is and how I personally incorporate Luminar AI into my retouch. So let's just get started. We're gonna start with this recent self-portrait, and if you're interested to see how I took it, I will leave the link to the behind the scenes video in the description. First step I'm gonna do is duplicate my background layer so I can go back to the original one in case I don't like something. And then I'm gonna go into Filter, Skylum Software, and Luminar AI. One of my favorite things about Luminar AI is that it's very straightforward. There's almost no learning curve to it. Everything is very easy to understand. It took me probably about a day to figure everything out here. And the first thing you're going to see is their templates. The artificial intelligence is analyzing the picture and recommending you some of the pre-made templates that they have. So let's see, it's recommending me the monochrome template. Here's the elegant matte, low key, lighthouse. The templates are pretty cool. If you're not sure what to do with your images, you can kind of browse through different ones that they have. I personally don't really use the templates because I'm very particular with how I edit, and I find this feature to be more so for beginners rather than professional retouchers, but it's definitely a cool option to have here. So I'm gonna go back to my raw image and I'm gonna go into edit. So here you're going to see the different panels that they have: Essentials, Creative, Portrait, Professional, and Local Masking. Again, I love the names of everything. It's very easy to understand. If you compare to Photoshop, where things are called like luminance and hue saturation, this in comparison has things like color, details, denoise, or sun rays, dramatic, mood, toning, matte, skin, body. It's very easy to understand what you're going to be doing. I'm going to actually start with the erase. This is kind of like a healing brush or content aware fill in Photoshop. So I'm just going to mask out this area right here and press erase. And as you can see, it took that out and actually did a pretty good job matching with the background. This is the before and after. Next, I'm going to go into light and I'm going to lower the exposure just a little bit, use the smart contrast, which I actually really like. It truly is smart because it adjusts just the contrast without, making your image look muddy or less desaturated. Then we have black and whites. Really like this one as well. Very straightforward. Let's make the blacks a little bit darker and the whites a little bit brighter to make the image more contrasting. Then I'm gonna go into portrait and do some skin softening. So we're gonna go into Skin AI and apply maybe like 40, 45. That looks good. So you'll see on some of these panels, you have this option right here to just toggle between on and off just to see what that specific thing is doing. So here I'm only seeing the skin adjustment. What I like about it is that it still leaves a lot of the texture in the skin, but softens up, and it's super easy. It is literally just one click. I do notice that sometimes it goes over the borders, like here. Look at the hair. It went a little bit over the hair and softened that as well. I actually kind of like it in this case. It looks kind of nice, but if you don't want that, you can use the masking option right here. If you click on the mask, you can now just paint over the areas you want to be softened. So I'm going to make the opacity to 100 And I'm gonna start painting it on. Let's just do it here. And then I went a little bit too far in some spots, so I'm gonna just delete it around here. Okay, that looks great. So now if you see, it's only applying it to the area that I masked off. That looks awesome. And the hair is still very sharp. You can also use this skin defects removal. I've noticed that it works really well on some obvious defects on the skin, but some of the smaller ones it doesn't really recognize. Like here, I still have a little tiny guy here and it didn't take it out. So it's not my favorite thing, but it works pretty well. It works okay. Okay, now let's do some color stuff. I'm gonna go back into the essentials and I'm gonna use the black and white. It's kind of a new thing I just discovered here in Luminar AI, and I really love using this for color correcting. So I'm gonna convert it to black and white, and then I'm gonna bring just some of the colors that I want back. So I'm gonna bring just a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, a lot of green, and a lot of the cyans. And then with the luminance, I'm gonna make the red darker, yellow darker. Let's bring in a little bit more of the red and yellow. Yeah, look at that. So this is the before and after. I think that's a really cool way to color tone your images. Again, I just discovered this like recently and I love the way this works. Now I'm gonna go into Pro and I'm gonna use the super contrast. Love this tab over here. So we have highlight, midtones, and shadow contrast. I do stuff like this in Photoshop, but through like a loophole where I use like selective color and levels. But here it's just, again, super straightforward. You want to make the highlights more contrasting? There you go. So I'm going to make the highlights more contrasting and brighter. Look at that, the before and after. Okay, I need to make it just a little bit stronger so you can see the big difference. Okay, do you see how the highlights are now a lot more contrasting and you can see them a lot more? I just love how this works. And then let's do, but I'm gonna actually tone it down just a little bit because I wanted to just show you guys, but in reality, everything that I do here are just very little small adjustments. You don't want to go 100 on something. In my opinion, good retouch is when you adjust small little pieces one by one, and then all together it looks good. I'm gonna also do the shadow contrast just a little bit here. All right, that looks great. So this was after the super contrast. Actually, I'm gonna do it the other way. Yeah, make it darker. Okay, that looks great. So let's go into creative and add a little bit of a matte. And again, I love how you can control everything so much. So there is fade here. So you can control how much of a fade that matte has. So you can have it a lot or a little bit. You can have a contrast to your matte. And you can even make it more vivid. Love it. I just love how much control I have over each panel. And then again, I can toggle between the before and after to see what it looks like. There's even a color tone. Oh my God, I didn't even realize there's also color toning on this. So you can make that matte have a color. That's really cool. Wait, I'm gonna make it like bluish. Oh my goodness, wait, I just discovered this. I love this. Okay, that looks awesome. Let's go back into Pro and do just a little bit of color harmony. I like to use the color balance here. I'm gonna add just a little bit of blue into the shadows, midtones. I'm gonna give it cyans, and into highlights, a little bit of yellow. Just slight little different. Oh my God, that looks really good. And what else can we do here? I think that actually looks really good. I think I'm gonna leave it at that and I'm gonna press apply. All right, so here's our image after Luminar. I think it already looks so good. So my next step would be to do some dodge and burn for skin. The Luminar helped a lot with softening the skin and making it a lot more smooth. But to give it that more professional touch, I still prefer to do some dodge and burn. So let me quickly do that and show you what's my next step. All right, so at this point, I did some skin retouch. That looks really good. And I actually kind of want to go back into Luminar for some more adjustments. So I'm going to take that background layer. Actually, I'm going to call it Luminar 1, just so I know that this was the layer when I did the first adjustments in Luminar. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer. And I'm going to call it Luminar 2. And then I'm going to go into Filter, Skylum Software, and Luminar AI again. All right, I'm going to go straight to Edit again, and I'm going to go back to the portrait. So now I'm going to go into Face AI, and let's do some stuff with the eyes. So I'm going to do the eye enhancer. I absolutely love this feature. So look at the before and after. It makes the catch lights more intense and just kind of gives the eyes more drama. Here, let's see the before and after. And I love that it recognized just the iris itself and makes it a lot faster. You know, in Photoshop to do this, I would have to make a different layer mask and then apply a bunch of different things like maybe sharpening and levels, and then specifically brush it onto the eye. But here it does it all with one click. Just like with one click, and it looks really good. It doesn't look fake. It doesn't look weird. I also like the iris flare. So that here, I'm going to put it to 100 just so you can see what it does. It gives you like a little boost where you would put a reflector maybe. So yeah, I'm going to do just a little bit of iris flare. Let's do just a little bit of dark circle removal. Here, I'm going to put it to the 100 so you can see what it does. Yeah, we're going to do just a little bit. Improve eyebrow, just a little bit. It makes the eyebrow just darker. And then for the mouth, we're going to make my lips darker and more red. That looks great. That's all we're gonna do here, and I'm just gonna apply. So here is the before and after of the second adjustment in Luminar, and I'm just gonna give this image some final adjustments and then show you guys the complete image. Alright, so here is the finished image. Let me show you guys exactly what we did here. So here's our before. This is the first adjustment we did in Luminar. Then the second adjustment, some skin retouch with dodge and burn in Photoshop. Some more dodge and burn to kind of bring up some details. This layer did a little bit of color matching on the skin. Some final color toning and a little bit more of the sharpening. And let's now see the complete before and after. Oh my god, the before and after. It's quite a crazy result. And I did the whole thing in about maybe 10 minutes. And that's with me explaining the whole thing to you guys as well. I think in reality, it will take about 7 minutes for me to edit the picture from start to finish, which is super awesome. Usually it takes me about 15 to maybe even 20 minutes sometimes. Again, depending on the image. Yeah, that looks really great. And now I'm gonna edit the image from start to finish in Luminar without using Photoshop, just to show you guys what the software itself can do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is a really cool feature that everyone loves in Luminar AI, and it is the Sky AI. So with this tool, you can easily replace the sky with whatever other sky you want. So they already have some preset skies that you can use, but what's cool is that you can actually load your own custom sky images. So if you have some of the skies that you have shot yourself, you can use those. And what I also love about this is that you can completely control that sky. So you can defocus it. So the whole image is shot in a very shallow depth of field. So I'm definitely going to defocus the sky so that it fits with the picture. And I'm going to make it brighter because the image is quite bright. And also I like to add this atmospheric haze to kind of make that sky not as dramatic. But it depends, you can make your sky super dramatic if you want to. And let me see, what other skies do we have here? This was shot almost at sunset, so maybe we can try some sunset ones. Okay, that's not bad. I think I found the one that I like. I think I really like this purple, blue, pink sky. I think it looks really, really nice with the flowers and everything, and it doesn't overpower the picture completely. So here's the before and after of the sky. And again, there's so many different sliders here that give you more control over the sky. And like I said, you can load your own custom sky images so that you don't have to use the preset ones that they have here. Okay, I'm gonna go now into essentials and do some more adjustments. I'm gonna brighten up the exposure on the whole image. I'm gonna bring the shadows up just a little bit. That looks great. Maybe do a little bit of that smart contrast. I think I need to bring the highlights down just a little bit. Okay, that looks great. Now I'm gonna use the Enhance AI just to bring some more detail into the whole image. So here, I'll show you guys what it does. Let me just kind of do it a lot so you can see the before and after. So you can see it just kind of brings a lot of details back in, and I love using it on my shallow depth of field images because it just kind of brings that pop back into the images. Yeah, we're definitely gonna use that. What do we do with the color? I'm gonna make the green a little bit more teal. Yes, that looks great. And we're gonna add a little bit more vibrance just to make this whole image super vibrant. And then I'm gonna tone down some of the oranges just a little bit. There we go. With the saturation, we can tone down the orange. Let's actually darken up the greens. Just a little bit. I'm gonna saturate the greens some more. Saturate the blues. Saturate the magentas and the reds. Look at that. That already looks so much better. I also really like this landscape option here to add the golden hour. So you can see it just makes everything like pop and more colorful, really beautiful. I really love what this does. And then the foliage enhancer, I also love this. So it kind of affects all the greenery. And you guys know that I have a lot of greenery in all of my images. Look at that, just kind of enhances all of the greenery. And then dehaze, I love it in Camera Raw, love it here. I always love to dehaze my images. Let's go back into the light and bring the shadows up just a little bit more. Ooh, let's do the black and whites. Let's bring the highlights up. Sorry, the other way. Yes, that looks great. Oh my goodness. This picture looks so much different already. There's another really cool feature that I like, and it's the Atmosphere AI that adds the fog into the image. It's really cool, and you can also do the mist or haze. We're gonna do the fog. So I'll show you what it does. Look at that. You see how it adds the fog right behind her, but it knows where the model is, so it doesn't add the fog on top of her. It's crazy. I used to do this effect in a lot of my images. To kind of separate the model from the background. I used to do it in Camera Raw and use the dehaze, but the opposite way. But this is so much easier because it's super smart and it just kind of shows you exactly, it just does it for you. So, and again, you can here adjust the lightness of the fog and the depth of the fog. So it can go like, on the full image if you want to. I'm gonna have the depth set to kind of what it had before. So this is the before and after, or you can of course mask it out and apply the fog only to the spots that you want. But again, it just kind of does it for you here, which I love. Actually, I'm thinking maybe this is a little bit too bright, huh? Maybe we should just tone down the exposure just a little bit. Yeah, let's go now into the portrait and let's do some cool stuff. Let's do the skin. Let's look at that. That looks great. This before and after just on the skin. Let's do the skin defects removal. And let's go to the face. So we're gonna do a lot of eye brightening here. This was shot with natural light and the sun was going down. It was not as bright anymore. So this will definitely help me a lot. So let's do the eye enhancer. Ooh, that looks good. We can really enhance the eyes here because they're pretty dark. Yes, that looks great. And we're gonna do the iris flare for sure. Look at that. That looks so good. And then we're gonna do the lip redness and darkening. We can even do a little bit of improve eyebrows and dark circle removal. Okay, that looks great. Okay, so because I want to keep everything just in Luminar AI for this portrait, let's do some more adjustments. Let's go to Pro and use the dodge and burn. So this works just like dodge and burn anywhere else. You can make the brush small or big. I like to first have the strength or the amount at 100 just so I can see where I'm painting and then I can play around with it. I'm just going to show you guys as I'm going. So I'm gonna paint some. If I paint it somewhere where I don't want, I can then just erase it. Not a big deal. Okay. I think that's kind of it. She doesn't really. Let's darken a few spots like over here. All right, so now let's move the amount lower, way lower. Okay, that looks really great. This spot right here still doesn't look that great with dodge and burn. We'll use a different option for it. We're gonna use the local masking. We're gonna add a mask with the basic and we're gonna bring the exposure or the shadows up just a little bit because it looks kind of like a shadow. And I'm gonna make it less saturated because it kind of looks like it's more saturated as well, that spot. Okay. And now I'm just gonna paint it. Just on that spot. And let's see the before and after. Okay, it's a little bit too bright. Okay, that pretty much took it out. Almost. Okay, that looks great. And now I'm just gonna do some more color toning. Let's go into the mood and maybe choose a LUT that would look nice. Ooh, Beijing looks pretty nice. I kind of like a lot of purple. Maybe we'll add that with the color grading. Ooh, Manhattan looks really nice as well. Yeah, let's do a little bit of Manhattan. And then I'm going to go into the color harmony on the Pro. We're going to add a little bit of magenta into the shadows. And then into highlights, we're going to go back with yellow and a little bit of, ooh, maybe like the cyan. Yes, that looks good. That looks really good. Love that. And let's do super contrast. I love bringing the whites. It looks so good in my opinion. All right. Honestly, I think this is good. I think we don't need to do any more. Okay, so let's see the before and after. Here's the before and after. It's crazy. Look at the before and after. So you really can do a lot of the retouch just in Luminar AI for sure. And I'll show you another cool thing. So we just did all of that in Luminar. I'm gonna save this as a template and I'm gonna apply this to another picture to show you how quickly you can edit multiple pictures and kind of apply the same preset to them. So here is the template. Let's save it. Let's name it, I don't know, purple. Okay, so now let's open a different picture and apply that. So you can go here to my collection and here's the purple that I made. So this is what it did to the image. Obviously this one was more exposed, so we can easily fix that. Let's go to edit. And what I like is that you can see exactly what you've done and what that preset did. So we're gonna just bring the exposure lower here. And let's bring just the shadows up. And yeah, this is the before and after. If I zoom in, you'll see that it also did that skin retouch and the lips. You see it darkened the lips. It applied that haze in the background and the sky. It saved everything that you've done in the previous image and applied it to this one, which is super cool. So now you have two images that you've edited fully in Luminar and they both look great. Okay, so here are a few things that I would love to change in Luminar. First one, if we go to portrait and in the mouth section, you can make the lips more red or darker, but what about making them brighter? Sometimes you want to brighten up the lip. I understand that it might not be the most popular choice, but I would love to have even more options, such as darkening the lips or making the lips less saturated. Now, when it comes to their local masking, right now, the only mask you can add is with the basic adjustments or texture. I obviously wish that they could have added any of these adjustments to be able to local mask. Right now, again, it's just the basic ones. But maybe in the future they can add more options to Luminar. That would make Luminar a lot more advanced, I guess, and not so much like a super easy program that they have right now. But I think it would add even more control over some of the things you can do here. And I personally would love to see that. My last complaint is that sometimes it's a little bit slow and it takes a second for it to load. It's not slow to the point where you can't work with it. It's not to the point where it's annoying, but again, something that I wish that they would improve maybe next time, just to make the program work just a little bit faster. But that's it for the video. What do you guys think about Luminar AI? Is it something that you're interested in? I personally really like it, and I think again that it's great for both beginners and professionals. Anyone will find some kind of feature that works for them and makes their editing a lot faster and easier. I've really been incorporating it in almost all of my portraits, even if I need just a little boost of like clarity on the eyes or darken the lips really fast. I'll open the plugin in Photoshop and do it on the separate layer, and it definitely is faster and easier. And plus there's some really cool color grading options here that I personally really love. I'm excited to see what else they're going to come up with new updates. I know that the Bokeh AI is coming, which I'm super excited to try out. And yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see more tutorials using Luminar AI or Luminar 4. I would love to make them for you guys. Give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!